Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Going for Goldbridge. We're back. I hope you enjoyed cooking with Goldbridge last week. That'll be back again next week. But this week we are going for Goldbridge. We're going to be taking your questions and we're back in a lockdown in the UK, which has got me feeling very, very angry. And I'm sure very many of you are frustrated as well. But I just wanted to start off actually. I've got my cup of coffee in front of me and I just had a couple of I only meant to have one hobnob. Then I was like, I'll have two. And then I thought, sorry, I'll have three. I've got really weak mentality when it comes to hobnobs. Not chocolate ones, just normal hobnobs. Basic bridge. But it got me thinking just before I was starting. I'm not a stat man. I don't really like stats. Oh, his pass completion rate is 92%. Yeah, but they're all sideways, whatever. But there are some stats that I wish I had that I'll never get. Like your own personal stats. I'd love to know how many I probably wouldn't want to know how many hobnobs I've eaten in my life. Or it must be like, I was trying to think, on average, every time I go in the biscuit tin, I probably have three. And I've probably done that. I've probably had well over, I bet I've had more than 1,000 hobnobs. Scary. It could have been 10,000 hobnobs. And then it leads into other things. How many times have you had fish and chips or McDonald's? I'd love to have these stats. They're impossible. You can't get them. Unless you're some weirdo who every time you do something just writes it down. But imagine if you could just go on a website and get your own personal stats. How many times you've had a hobnob, how many packets of cheese and onion crisps you've had, how many episodes of EastEnders have you watched. It could get really in depth. You could be like how many times you've got laid. Although what I've always said about that is it's not how many clubs you've played for, it's how many caps you've got for England. And basically what I'm saying is if you're with the right person and you're doing it regularly, that's a cap for England. That's something to be proud of. If you just do it with lots of different clubs, you're basically just a journeyman like Dean Windass. Anyway, if you know, you know. Let's crack on with it. The lockdown is back and I'm very frustrated about it, to be honest with you. Not that we need it. Got to do it for our NHS. We've been there before. I'm not clapping on a Thursday night. It's cold. I might do it at the window. Just highlight myself at the window. What's that weirdo doing? He stood at his window again, clapping himself. Oh, he's just a big head. He's a big head. But no, we could do the clapping, but I'm not going outside. Central heating costs a lot of money, and it's cold and it's rainy. But we are doing it for the NHS. We're doing it for the right reasons. I totally agree with why we're doing it. It's just I'm tired of it. I think we're all very tired of it. And people start getting sanctimonious about it. And I don't, last down of the lockdown when everyone was out drinking. Yeah, well done. Thanks for that one. I've seen all the pictures. I try to avoid it. But basically Wednesday night was the last night before we go into lockdown. And typically, again, crowds of people out getting their last drink in. Idiots. You don't want to go into lockdown for 4 weeks. So why the night before lockdown do you all go out for one last hurrah that will probably extend the lockdown because you're massively socialising, which you haven't been doing before, and now it will boost it and mean that we're in lockdown for ages. So well done. You are the definition of a fucking idiot. But there you go. I'm starting to get bubbled up because I think the lockdown will work. I think the infection rate will come down, but it's only going to come down because of people like us who actually abide by the rules. There's plenty of idiots out there, and I know them. Some are friends. And they just think, well, no, why should I bother? And that's the problem. We're not doing it because you don't think you're going to die of it. We're doing it because if it keeps growing, our NHS will become absolutely obliterated and people will die because they won't get medication, and people who want cancer screening won't get cancer screening, and people who need urgent operations won't get them. The simplicity of what we are doing is frustrating. It's very frustrating, but we're doing it because the NHS can't cope with the numbers that are going to happen. And as somebody who used to work in the emergency services, the main reason for this is we've been cutting them back for years. If we had twice the size of the NHS, we wouldn't have to do the lockdown. It's as simple as that. It's resources against numbers. That's why we're doing it. So people who think, well, it's not going to affect me. Well, it does affect you, doesn't it? Because you're not going to the pub now. So stop taking a piss and get on with it. As frustrating as it is. But also what really frustrates me is literally in the last 2 mornings, yesterday and today, because it's Thursday, Friday, the lockdown has been running in the UK. I walk every morning to take my daughter to school, and I've been doing this for ages. I know, you see the same people, you see the same sort of things. You see the dustbin lorry on a Wednesday. You see certain people who walk their dog every day. What I'm seeing over the last couple of days is enough to boil your blood. Point one, right? Point one. New people walking their dog. I saw a guy today, like, he doesn't even know how to walk. Like, I'm quite a quick walker. I'm walking along. I'd forgotten my headphones, so I'm listening to one of my order. I'm not listening to myself on YouTube. That's just big. Oh, look at me! I'll be walking along, listening to United Stand from last night, which wasn't actually me. It was Flex, but you know, I was listening to something on Audible. I'd forgotten my headphones, so I'm listening to it. I always turn it down if someone's near me because I'm not a rude person. I'm not that idiot on the train who, don't get me started on those people on the train who have headphones on, but you can hear every word of their shit music or whatever they're watching. I even sat next to somebody once, right, who didn't even put headphones in. They just put their iPad on and started watching some crap comedy. I know what comedy it was. It was Mrs. Brown's Boys, which I hate. And he laughed about it all. And I had to move carriage because I was either going to... I wasn't going to punch him. I'm not a violent person. But I would have said something. And I'd ran it out in my head. Like, he had it... I mean, look, to be honest with you, maybe he had headphones on, but I could hear it. Because I'm sure somebody would have... Anyway, the reality is, I'd ran through it in my head. He's listening to Mrs. Brown Boys on an iPad, laughing continuously. And he was an educated person. He wasn't thick. He wasn't a thicko. Like, he clearly had a career. Like, he was in a suit. Anyway, it could have worked. That doesn't mean anything. Could have been going to court. But he was laughing at everybody. Why would you be going to court at half six in the morning on a train to London? Well, maybe, yeah, I suppose you could have been going to court. Could have been a serious case, you know. Could have been going to the High Court in London. Would have made it for about 9 o'clock. Anyway, I digress. He's listening to Mrs. Brown Boys at 6:30 in the morning. Your ears are always heightened when you first get up in the morning as well. And I ended up just getting up and walking into another carriage, which was the simpler thing to do because the conversation I'd had in my head, I'd played it out how this was going to go. You know, sometimes you should just act on your instinct. I should have just said to him, "Can you turn it down, please? It's really irritating." But what I wanted to say and why I left the carriage is because I played it out in my head. What I wanted to say was, what are you doing with your life listening to Mrs. Brown Boys at 6:30 in the morning? And why are you laughing at all the jokes? They're not that funny. Maybe 1 or 2 sniggers throughout a whole half-an-hour episode, but you're laughing 4 or 5 times a minute. What is wrong with you? If you want some good comedy, I can download some stuff. Give me your iPad. No, give me your iPad. I'll forget it. But, you know, it's... I've completely... Yeah. Anyway. I'm walking along, listening to my Audible, and I'm very good at this. I'm very good at sensing. I don't know whether it's danger. I suppose it goes back to, you know, being in primal instincts, isn't it? You know, primal instincts. Is that carnal? I'm thinking carnal instincts. Think about being in the bedroom. Primal is what I'm thinking about. You know, back when we were cavemen and women. You probably didn't have to say that then. Everyone was probably a caveman. And, you know, you've got to be fearful of danger. Apparently dinosaurs weren't around at the same time as cavemen. Well, I've seen films where they were. Anyway, prove it. And so, yeah, I was aware that somebody was behind me. And they were walking way too fast. It was irritating me because I'm not a slow walker. Anyway, they crossed the road because obviously they're being COVID aware. They crossed the road. And what it was a man I've never seen before walking a dog. Fast. And it irritated me for 2 reasons. One, you're not... Oh, Billy Big Bollocks, you're walking quicker than me. And it was obviously some sort of competition. And 2, I've never seen you walking along here with your dog before. So you know what you are? You're a COVID idiot. That's what you are. Because you're not COVID aware, you're a COVID idiot. You know what you are? Again, I had another conversation. I felt like shouting across to him, "Oi, John." I don't know what his name is, but John will do. And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Oh, I know your type straight away from the way you're saying what. What do you think you're doing, John?" Walking my dog. "Oh, right, really? I've never seen you walking round here. Have you moved in recently?" "No, I've lived around here for 5 years." "Well, what are you doing walking your dog? I've never seen you around here before." "Well, it's nothing to do with you." "Right, all right then, John. Let me put it to you this. My name's not John. Doesn't matter. Let me put this to you, John. You don't normally walk that dog. You are one of those idiots that because it's COVID and lockdown, you're going to get out and get a bit of fresh air and get fit, aren't you?" "Well, I don't think it's anything." I haven't finished yet, John. I haven't finished yet. "You're not welcome round here with your quick walk. That's not even how you walk a dog. In fact, I bet you don't even know what that bloody dog's name is." "I do, it's Harry." "Harry, sit." Harry's just wagging his tail. "Sit, Harry," just wagging his tail. You're no dog man. You're no dog man, John. You can't even teach that dog to sit. This is the first time you've walked it. It's just walked it. Don't walk it. Bloody hell. Watched it. It's the first time you've walked it, John. Even in my fantasy talk, I've got my words. I've got so angry I've mixed my words up. You've never walked that dog, John. You've never walked Harry. You can't even sit. You're walking him because you've got a bit of spare time because you're not working in the office anymore. You're an office man, John. You don't even know the name of your dog. But you don't even know the name of your kids. Can't have kids. Back on the dog. Don't change the subject. You don't know the name of that dog. You've never walked it before and you're walking it too quick and I've found you out. You're just a COVID idiot because you're on lockdown thinking, ooh, this is freedom. I'm going to walk the dog. That dog sits miserable in your back room, and you bet you don't even pet it regularly. Well, I'm leaving this conversation now. I don't know what you're on about. I tell you what, John. You know what? I saw you coming a mile off because you're walking too fast, and you're walking too fast for that dog. He doesn't want to walk that quick. He wants to smell the grass. It's sociable for dogs to smell the grass. You're dragging him along on a quick walk. Selfish. Get out of my sight. Of course, by the time I've had this conversation, he is out of my sight. But there's a lot of these people out there. And I'm sure you see them out where you are. It's like a pimped up January. You know when fat, greedy people in January decide they're going to go on a diet for 2 weeks and they're going to go down gym because they've been eating all year? Well, this is what it is like in the first couple of days of COVID. People are out there running, walking dogs that they've never seen. And I see them a mile off because I do it every day. I do it every day. And I know you people. I spot you like a spot on the end of the nose. You're just out there living in the COVID lockdown, making the most of it. You make me sick. And the worst ones of the lot, and I see loads of these, and it's very irresponsible. This is the worst of the lot. Why are we in lockdown, everybody? No. Shut up about the dog story. Why are we in lockdown? We're in lockdown because we're trying to curb the infection rate and stop people spreading it. Super spreaders are at fault. Well, I'll define a super spreader for you. This is a new type of super spreader. So, where I walk my daughter to school, a lot of other parents are walking their kids to school. We all know the same people. What have I seen over the last 2 days? On 2 separate mornings, I've seen 3 different runners. There is a field and there is a country park literally half a mile away. Go and run around that with your spluttering unfit gob. Instead of running through people trying to take their kids to school, you see them, they can't even run. It's the same. I'm going to get fit. This next month before Christmas, I'm going to get myself fit. But you're not, you've got all the gear and no idea. You've got your bloody Reebok pumps on, your tight leggings that tuck all your fat in, and you're running around. And look, most people look fat in leggings, don't they? Unless you're off Gladiators or what's that other one? Ninja. What's it on ITV? Anyway, they're running around, but the best bit about it is the whole point of COVID is wearing a mask and, well, that's controversial, but keeping your distance. So we're all walking to school, and whilst we're walking to school, we've got this lot running through, like they're consuming more oxygen than I do in a whole day with one breath. They're like running along, spreading their bloody spit and air that I'm walking into. Go and run round the bloody field. Why have you got to run round a well-populated area? Because you're a COVID idiot again. I'm getting fit. You're not. You might be asymptomatic, spreading it. Super spreader. I mean, if they run past 20... Imagine how many people they run past in a populated area when they go on their 5-minute run before they're knackered. They could run past 50 people. If they're asymptomatic, they're a super spreader to 50 people because they are breathing big. They're breathing like a bloody walrus. I tell you, it pisses me off. I've never seen them in bloody life, but the last 2 mornings they're out there running, they're out there walking the dogs, and it just does my head in. Lockdown is not a time for you to take up a hobby that infects everybody else's life. Stay indoors, stay out of trouble, and just stay out of my way. Basically, yeah. They do. It does bother me though. The runners really bother me because they're running past people, and it's like. You are exploding your gob and spit and air molecules, whatever they call it, all over us because you want to get fit. Take the I out and put an A in. Anyway, but look, we are back in lockdown. And on a serious note, it always does me to vent my frustrations, but hopefully it will be just for a month and hopefully we're back to normal. If anyone follows me on Instagram, at Goldbridge Mark on Instagram, you'll see that, over the last few weeks I've been getting out to the pub, supporting the local pubs. That's what alcoholics say. I'm not an alcoholic. I go out for a couple of pints and a meal. But supporting the local pubs, and it's a shame that they've got to close for a month. So hopefully they can be back for Christmas, and we can have a bit of a Christmas in that sense. I don't think we're going to get a Christmas where we see lots of family. That's probably quite a good thing for me. But yeah, hopefully it will be just a month, and I think people will take it seriously. But what you do need to take seriously above everything is your mental health. So I'll try and do more of these. Some people might say that's going to depress people even more, but it is true. You've got to try, and it's not easy. Hopefully it's going to be nothing like the first one. The first one depresses me more than this, but at least it's a nicer time of year. You know, there's other things. You know, football's not going to get cancelled. We'll start thinking about Christmas and stuff like that. So we'll get through it. We'll get through it as a world, and you know. But look, I understand people who get frustrated. Let me have a sip of coffee. I understand why people get frustrated. You know, I mean, the reality is, from the evidence that I've seen, the people at risk are a very, very small minority of people over the age of about 70. And for younger people, it's not a risk. But as I said, in our country, it's simply because the numbers will bombard our NHS, and then it impacts on everybody. And realistically, we should have a bigger NHS. We should have more hospitals. We should have more hospital beds. We should have more nurses and more doctors. But this has been cut back for years and years and years by both governments, to be fair. And this is why we have to go into lockdown. And I get that, but it's very frustrating. As for people saying we should shut schools down, again, I get that, because there's probably a lot of you who go to college, you don't want to go to college and have a month off, and you know. But I'm telling you now, the education lost to kids over that 3 months that we had between March and, well, more than 3 months, wasn't it? It was March to September, was huge. We can't keep doing that. And the reality is, I've got 3 kids and they go to 3 separate schools. And since September, only one of them has had to self-isolate for 2 weeks because someone in their class had it. So it's not super spread. And we live in an area where it's been in tier 2 for a long time. So there's not loads. I mean, to be honest, can I just say this about COVID? I know a few people who've died about it, so I know it's real. And I know I live in an area where the infection rate's very high, but I don't know a lot of people who've got it. And I know a lot of people, and that's not because I've got a lot of friends. That's because I know a lot of people in my area, and I don't hear many schools being shutting down and stuff, this, that, and the other. So I don't know. It definitely exists, but I think you know, and this is only a theory. I don't think it's massively an issue. I just think we've got such a small NHS and such a small amount of beds and everything like that. It doesn't actually take much of an infection rate to overwhelm it. And I think that, you know, it's very, very sad actually, because like my daughter plays football. I know, you know, I play football, and all that has to stop for a month, and all these pubs have to stop for a month, and all shopping has to stop for a month. And the reality is, I think it was okay. I think we were doing okay. I just think that we're not equipped to deal with a certain growth of this virus, and therefore we all have to shut down, and it's sad. It's sad. I mean, the lesson to me is that, you know, you need to be equipped better for this. You've got to value the things that can, you know, maybe that's what will come out of this year, that we need to value the emergency services far more. Talking of which, one thing I really think we've fucked up on this year is, what are the army doing? What are the army doing? Like, I don't know what our army does anymore. We've still got one, but why have they not been utilised? Why have they not been utilised to stop these last day of lockdown? I tell you what, all those youngsters and all those, well, no, it's not even the young people. Anybody who was in a pub on Wednesday night having one last hurrah, send the army in. They'll shit themselves. Put your pint down, social distance, and get out. You know, this is what we need. We're locked down for a month. If we're going to lock down for a month, let's lock down properly. Let's not take any of this advice shit. If people have a rave, send in the SAS. Send in the SAS. Smash through the windows. Use blanks. Don't use real bullets. And just absolutely shit them up. The problem is, some people just think it's a laugh. Some people think they can do what they want. Use the bloody army. Stop the cars with a bloody tank. Don't blow it up. I mean, well, a tank wouldn't catch even a Corsa, but you know what I mean? Utilise serious options against these people and make them realise what the serious situation is. Because I'm telling you what, there's people out there taking the piss. And they shouldn't be having raves and they shouldn't be having parties. Send in the army. Sort them all out. I don't mean like take them out. I mean just, you know, shit them up a little bit. Make them abide by the rules. Because Nobody wants to be doing this, and if everybody does it, it'll be over a lot quicker. And then when they open it up again, please, people, stick by the fucking rules. Otherwise, we're going to be back in it again. It's difficult. It is difficult. Anyway, moving on from the lockdown for a moment, let's talk about some other things. I was asked if there was... have you ever run away from anything in your life that you regret? There's quite a few things that I'm not going to mention on here. All legal, by the way. But there was one thing that comes out to mind. We went to stay at this country house once, and it was we'd been out for a pub lunch, and when we came back by the stairs, there was this step ladder by the stairs that before we went out, I'd put it in the cellar, and when we came back, it wasn't there. It was up, not in the cellar. It was in the hallway, and basically. It was bothering me all evening, and as it got darker, it was bothering me even more. We were phoning around trying to find if somebody had been in the house, like a cleaner or something like that, and they were like, no one should have been in there. And I was like, this is not making me feel any better, because I definitely put it in the cellar before we went out. And the wife was like, yeah, but it was there when we came in. And I know, and I said to myself, why is it there? I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to put it in the cellar. And we couldn't get to the bottom of it. Anyway, went to bed at night, and we're just about to drop off, and I went, no, I can't do this. I can't stay in this house. We've got to go home. And we basically packed up everything and went home, because I couldn't get past it. I couldn't get past this mental thing that when we'd gone out in the afternoon at this country house that we were staying at for the weekend, I definitely put the step ladder into the cellar, and when we came back, it was back where it was, and I'd definitely done it. This is not forgetfulness. This is not I definitely had done it. And when I'd gone to bed at night, I even put Home Alone on to try and make myself feel, relaxed and happy. And even Kevin was making me feel scared. So I was just like, no, I just can't do this. And obviously, the wife wasn't very happy. She was like, can't you just go to sleep? I was like, the trouble is, if I go to sleep and actually somebody has moved that, we're going to regret it in the morning if we've been murdered in our sleep. Like, I know it's safety conscious, but I think we should just pack up and go, because I'm not going to go to sleep, and I've got a big day tomorrow. I didn't really. It was a Sunday. I just felt like relaxing and watching the Lord of the Rings box set, which I wouldn't have been able to do tired. So yeah, we ended up... I feel bad even telling this story. We ended up packing up and going home. Because I just couldn't get past it. I was like, somebody has moved that from the cellar. It's not me. It's not the wife. So who is it who's done it? Anyway, we got a phone call the following night saying, oh, did you have a nice weekend? And I said, yeah, it was lovely, thank you. And I just lied. I was like, I'm not going to tell the story, because I felt a bit embarrassed. In the daylight, you get all brave, don't you? In the dark, you're like shitting yourself. But in the day, you're like, come on then, do you want some? But obviously, I'd already come home, so that do you want some didn't really work. It was miles away. And they said, oh yeah, you mentioned about the thing from the cellar yesterday. We hadn't realised we've got a cleaner who lives in the village, and she's Polish, and she normally cleans on a Tuesday. And actually, she'd gone in and done it yesterday because she couldn't do it this Tuesday. All right, no worries. That's fine. Bye. Put the phone down. So there's your explanation. But in the absence of an explanation, I got out of there, because country houses, you just don't know. They could be haunted by weirdos who move steps ladders to know that you're there and then kill you in your sleep. You just do not know. What do you think about life, Mark? Was another question. Overrated? No, don't. I don't think that. I thought that was a funny question. It's right up there with what's your worst and best flavoured crisps. Again, it changes, which is a bit like life, really. Sometimes I like cheese and onion. Sometimes I don't like salt and vinegar. Sometimes I really don't like smoky bacon, but then it's all that's left in the packet. And that answers the life question. It's a metaphor. No, I'm only joking. What do I think about life? It's a gift. It's a gift. It can be a bitch. It can be fantastic, but it's an experience. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. Think about all the people who don't get it. They don't exist. We exist. We don't know whether we exist afterwards. We exist. We soak it up, the good and the bad, and then we die. And it's an experience, isn't it? And to be honest, I'd rather put that experience in my video recorder and watch it than never know. So there you go. That's what I think about that. Any other questions? What would you give up the United Stand for? I don't know whether I'd give up the United Stand, but I've always quite liked the idea of being in Eastenders. And this is a true story. I actually wrote to Eastenders about 20 years ago. So I wrote a letter to the Eastenders and I said, you'd have to know who this person was. His name was Steve from Eastenders, and he died in a car crash. Well, his car blew up, and he was an enemy of Phil Mitchell. And I basically wrote to them and I said, since you killed off Steve Owen, Eastenders has gone down the pan. You need some better writing, and I'm the person to do it. Now, this is really funny because I got an email from somebody about 8 months ago who emailed the United Stand and said, I can make the United Stand better. There's loads of problems with it. One being Mark and the other being the website. It's just basic and shit, and I can make it better. And I really want to do it, so I'm willing to get involved. Now, that's not the approach to take if you want to be given a chance in anything. And it was a real eye-opener to me, to my letter to Eastenders, because I basically wrote the same thing. Your writing's gone downhill. It's not good enough. You need to get me involved. I've got some ideas. Straight away, you've got the backup of the person, and they probably delete your email. But anyway, that was what I did to Eastenders. And I'd literally spent probably a whole weekend writing this new character in and his journey. And basically, not only did I have ideas about how it would be better, they should cast me in the role. I mean, I bet this never got read. So basically, I was going to be Steve Owen's illegitimate son, who was going to come back and not reveal who he was, but basically shag his way around the square, including anything to do with the Mitchells, who was of age and female, obviously legal, and basically just get into Phil Mitchell's head, but also befriend him over about, I think I said about 7.5 months. Bring me in sort of mid-March, and then on Christmas Day, when he invites me around for dinner, I'll reveal with a gun to his head who I am. Everyone will be panicking. It will be at the Christmas dinner table, and I'll be like, oh, I'm Steve Owen's son. And not only that Mitchell's pregnant. I hadn't decided which one. And we're going to call it Steve. And I've got a gun at your head. And it's Christmas Day. And I know you love Christmas, Phil. And then it goes boom, 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 boom. And then that was it. I knew what was going to happen after that. I knew what happened in the next episode. But I didn't tell them that. That was for them to email. Well, it wouldn't have been email right back. And they never did. And I actually think that would have been me. And I actually think that probably would have beaten Den and Angie's EastEnders Christmas special from the 80s. It had so much scope over 7.5 months. And all I said is, you've got to put me in a suit every episode with a flip phone and slick back my hair and just make me irresistible to women, which I'm halfway there. And a bit of a hard guy, of which I'm halfway there as well. But they never wrote back. So if they want to revamp that on EastEnders, I'd still be willing, because to be honest, in 20 years I have hardly aged and I still look and could get away for being in my early 20s. So yeah, that's what I thought about that. Anyway, I've probably gone on too long today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe if you're new. We're getting close to 100k. We're getting close to 100k. So subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video. Get your comments in below. And I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you very much. I hope I recorded this. Yes, I have.